This cruise cost $99 a night. This one just got evacuated by helicopter. This one is still selling tickets for next month. And this one, the passengers had to use biohazard bags. 4 real voyages. 4 very different disasters. And every single one of them left clues before anyone stepped on board. I went through lawsuits, Coast Guard reports, and government sanitation scores to find the 10 worst cruises you can actually book right now. And exactly what to do if you end up on one. We're counting down from number 10, where the warning signs start with rock-bottom reviews and a failed federal inspection. In the 10th place, the warning signs start before you even leave port. Costa Fortuna averages a low 2.87 out of 5 across passenger review sites, while the MSC Seaside failed its CDC sanitation inspection with a score of 67, well below the passing mark of 86. Inspectors documented raw meat held at warm temperatures and poor sanitation after public gastrointestinal accidents. Protect yourself by rechecking official inspection databases and passenger reviews before paying. If you must sail, book an aft cabin far from the buffet corridor and avoid the first dinner seating. Number 9 on our list is Ambassador Cruise Line, hit by separate reports of severe disruptions. On the ambience, passengers alleged the cruise was abruptly canceled just 4 hours after boarding because toilets stopped flushing ship-wide. On the Ambition, a suspected gastrointestinal outbreak in Bordeaux led to more than 1,700 guests being confined on board during disinfection. A sudden cancellation or quarantine can leave you stranded without an immediate flight back home. Always pack a personal sanitation kit with hand sanitizer, but more importantly, read the cruise line's refund, cancellation, and medical isolation terms before paying your deposit. 8th place goes to Margaritaville at Sea Paradise, an approximately 30-year-old ship formerly operated by Bahamas Paradise Cruise Line. Rebranded after a multi-million-dollar refurbishment, it gained attention for promotions offering 2-night sailings for around $99 per cabin. Some passengers reported issues like mildew odors in suites and extreme temperature fluctuations. While these individual testimonies do not establish fleet-wide defects, you can protect yourself by requesting an upper deck cabin away from the engine and waterline. Always document your cabin requirements in writing before making your final payment. 7th place goes to Cordelia Cruises, marketed as a premium experience but frequently drawing budget-level reviews. One passenger reported a complete overnight climate control failure that caused severe distress for an asthmatic guest, while others described repeated low-quality food and more than a dozen unresolved support tickets. Because these testimonies represent unresolved disputes rather than official findings, protecting yourself requires proactive steps. Always obtain written confirmation of your cabin class and active air conditioning systems before final payment. Keep records of all correspondence and review the refund terms carefully, as passengers report these financial disputes can become highly protracted. In the 6th place, Hanseatic Inspiration proves that luxury expedition branding does not guarantee sanitation. During a September 2024 CDC inspection, this high-end vessel received a score of 62 out of 100, tying for one of the lowest scores in program history. Inspectors documented 44 violations, including maggots in food areas, a dead bird, and thick grime on beer taps. While a later re-inspection reached 89, that score does not erase the initial failure. Protect your health by searching the public CDC database to verify the latest dated inspection record before booking. In the 5th place, Pelni Economy Class, operating in Indonesia, presents severe crowding reports rather than official sanitation failures. Unverified passenger claims describe cockroaches appearing in Class 1A cabins within hours of departure, while separate reports allege vessels can reach 150% of capacity, forcing travelers to sleep on stairs and in hallways near toilets. Because these claims lack primary source verification, treat them as warnings. To handle these conditions safely, book cabin class, carry a personal sleeping mat and food, and physically verify your life jacket. Ensure any temporary bedding never blocks emergency exits, corridors, or muster stations. In the 4th place, Sun Cruise and the Blue Horizon serve as historical cautionary tales rather than bookable voyages. They operated under a cruises to nowhere model, sailing just 3 miles offshore into international waters to host gambling outside federal jurisdiction. This business collapsed after Florida legalized land-based casinos in 2016, leaving vessels like the Blue Horizon abandoned. protect deposits against defunct operators, travelers must run a physical fixed office test. Always verify a physical corporate address, licensing, route history, refund clauses, and payment protections before transferring any money to a new line. Coming to the top 3, the Escapade Casino Cruise moves the countdown into active search and rescue territory. On its maiden voyage from Savannah, this 174-foot vessel ran aground, prompting the Coast Guard to launch cutters and a helicopter to rescue 118 passengers and crew. Investigating agencies blamed the grounding on navigational error and poor bridge resource management, though conflicting local reports make verifying the official incident records critical before calling these details absolute facts. For your own safety, never be the guinea pig on a maiden voyage. Always research the operator's route history and verify that the crew has extensive hands-on experience navigating that exact vessel before you purchase a ticket. In second place, Carnival Horizon represents a current booking risk due to an active federal lawsuit filed by a Maryland couple. The plaintiffs allege that after boarding stateroom 2429, they discovered live bed bugs in various life stages, eggs, and fecal spotting on the mattress and headboard. Crucially, the complaint alleges that ship staff had actively fumigated nearby cabins shortly before embarkation, suggesting prior knowledge. While this remains an unresolved allegation rather than an adjudicated ship-wide finding, passengers must protect themselves before unpacking. Spend 5 minutes checking mattress seams, headboard edges, and upholstered furniture joints. Document any evidence with photos reported in writing and keep your luggage off the beds until cleared. And finally, in first place, the most documented cruise failure in history occurred on February 10, 2013, aboard the Carnival Triumph. According to the Bahamas Maritime Authority, a fuel oil return line failure allowed fuel to spray and ignite on a hot engine surface, sparking a major engine room fire during a Gulf of Mexico sailing. Although crew members extinguished the flames, the vessel lost all propulsion and electrical power, leaving approximately 4,229 passengers and crew stranded before the disabled ship was slowly towed to Mobile, Alabama. The mechanical blackout quickly triggered a severe sanitation crisis. Without electricity, the ship lost ventilation, refrigeration, hot food service, active lighting, air conditioning, and normal plumbing. Sewage backed up into multiple passenger cabins and public areas. To escape the rising heat and overwhelming odors below, travelers dragged their mattresses to the open upper decks to build makeshift sleeping areas. When the vacuum flush toilets stopped functioning completely, crew members handed out red biohazard bags for human waste. One crew member reportedly described the contents of a defunct toilet to passengers as poop lasagna, though this remains passenger testimony rather than an official marine engineering finding. Carnival canceled 14 subsequent voyages to complete extensive repairs and later returned the vessel to service as the Carnival Sunrise. If you are trapped on a disabled vessel, survival relies on immediate organized preparation. Ration your personal food and water immediately instead of assuming normal services will continue. Claim authorized deck space early to secure a breathable sleeping location, but avoid blocking muster stations, lifeboat access, or crew machinery zones. Keep your identification, critical medications, sturdy shoes, and phone power banks in a small, accessible bag. Track down alternative public facilities, follow crew safety instructions for waste handling, and share reliable information with other travelers to maintain order and survive the crisis. Across these 10 voyages, one pattern emerges. The warning signs were always in the public record. By checking safety histories and inspecting your cabin, you hold the power to survive. Next, we expose the cruise operators currently banned from international waters. Subscribe to stay safe.
The U.S. government has issued active travel warnings for ports your cruise line is still selling excursions at, right now, today. And not one person at the gangway will tell you a single word about it. We pulled every U.S. State Department travel advisory for every major Caribbean cruise port, matched them against real passenger incidents from 2025 and 2026. What we found will change how you think about every port day you've ever planned. 10 ports, ranked worst to best, real advisory levels. Stay for the final port. It carries a gold checkmark for safety, and it's almost certainly the one you're most afraid of. Worst to best. Starting now. U.S. State Department Advisory. Level 3. Reconsider travel. One level below, do not travel. Your cruise line is docking here and selling excursions with a smile anyway. La Romana has documented kidnapping incidents involving tourists. Not rumors, not forum speculation. Documented incidents that triggered the Level 3 classification. The port perimeter has security, but that perimeter is smaller than passengers assume. Step outside it and you're in Level 3 territory, with zero cruise line responsibility for your safety. The only smart move? Stay on the ship, order room service, watch a movie. This is not a joke. Never get off. Full stop. Jamaica carries a Level 3 advisory as a country. Highest violent crime rate in the entire Caribbean. Multiple robbery incidents targeting cruise passengers were reported at Dunn's River Falls in 2024, not inside the falls, but on the short walk between the transport and the attraction. The cruise line knew the excursion kept selling out. If you sail here, the only remotely protected option is a cruise line excursion that stays inside a verified resort complex the entire time. Even then, weigh the Level 3 advisory before you take a single step off that ship. Never get off independently. No exceptions. Passengers make a critical mistake here. They assume a purpose-built Royal Caribbean port means safer than Ocho Rios. Same country, same Level 3 advisory, same risk. The security bubble extends roughly 200 meters in any direction. Passengers who've wandered beyond the gate looking for authentic Jamaica encountered exactly the environment the State Department warned them about. Worth knowing, those colorful Georgian-style buildings look historic. They were constructed in 2011. Every inch of Falmouth is manufactured atmosphere. Stay inside the gate or stay on the ship. This is still a Level 3 country. The port design changes nothing. Nassau carries a Level 2 advisory. Exercise increased caution. The Bay Street corridor from the dock runs well-organized scam operations targeting cruise passengers. Counterfeit goods, inflated prices, and taxi fare manipulation hit serious numbers in 2024 and 2025. The whole system is friendly-looking and extremely practiced. The genuine crime risk is real, but concentrated away from the main tourist zone. The scam risk is concentrated in the exact areas every tour funnels you toward. The only move that works? Pre-book the Atlantis Day Pass before you sail. Go directly there. Come back. That's your Nassau. Anything else is walking into a system designed specifically to take your money. U.S. territory does not mean U.S. mainland safety levels. St. Thomas carries a Level 2 advisory, and violent crime rates are significantly higher than the U.S. mainland average. Then there's the Jewelry District. Charlotte Amalie is one of the most sophisticated tourist price inflation operations in the Caribbean. Friendly vendors, real-looking certificates, enormous markups against comparable products at home, and zero consumer protection once your ship has left the dock. The smart move? Pre-book a direct taxi to Maiden's Bay Beach only. One of the genuinely most beautiful beaches in the entire Caribbean. Come back with time to spare. Never walk from the port independently. Pre-booked taxi only. Every time. St. Martin is two completely different experiences on one island, and most passengers only see the worst one. The Dutch side near the dock has documented port area street crime concentrated between the ship and the shopping district. It looks accessible and tourist-friendly. That's exactly why it catches people off guard. The French side, St. Martin is quieter, far less commercial, and significantly more relaxed. Getting there costs $12 on a water taxi. The smart move: skip the port strip entirely. Water taxi to Orient Beach. Beach, better food, fraction of the crowd. Come back with 2 hours to spare. St. Martin isn't a bad port. The Dutch dock area is. Now you know the difference. No active U.S. travel advisory. Low street crime. Clean, well-run, beautiful water. But Grand Cayman has no cruise dock. Every ship tenders. If weather shifts, and it shifts fast, the entire port day disappears. No compensation. Nothing. If you do get ashore, Stingray City is genuinely impressive. Once. But with multiple ships tendering simultaneously, it becomes a crowded, rushed experience that rarely matches the photos. The smart move? Watch the app from 7 a.m. Only commit once tendering is confirmed. Go on the first tender out. Pre-book a smaller group operator rather than the ship's excursion. Physical danger is low. Financial disappointment risk is very high. Mexico mainland carries a Level 3 advisory in several states. Cozumel is a separate island with a genuinely different risk profile. Experienced cruisers treat it that way for good reason. The problem isn't safety, it's crowd volume. On heavy ship days, 4 or 5 vessels calling simultaneously, popular sites become genuinely unpleasant. Every obvious excursion becomes a mass event. The smart move? Check cruisetimeeatables.com before your port day. Heavy ship day? Skip every obvious excursion. Rent a scooter, head south, eat locally, stay on the island. Ignore the mainland day trip offers completely. That advisory is real. No active U.S. travel advisory. No elevated caution language. No documented tourist crime patterns. Just Willemstad, a UNESCO World Heritage Capital city you can walk straight off the ship into. Dutch colonial architecture in vivid colors. Floating market. Locally owned restaurants with real food at real prices. No excursion needed. No taxi needed. No guide needed. Walk off the ship, follow the waterfront, eat somewhere that doesn't have a cruise ship photo on the wall. Come back when you feel like it. This is your free day. The Caribbean actually works when no one is trying to sell you something at every corner. Say, Colombia, in a cruise group, and watch the fear responses pile in. Passengers marking themselves as staying on board. Warnings from people who've never been. Here's what the data says. Cartagena's historic walled city carries no active elevated U.S. advisory for tourists. Travel safety analysts consistently cite the Old City as one of the safer walkable tourist zones in South America. The fear is almost entirely reputation-based. The reality is fundamentally different. The walled city is extraordinary. 5 centuries of Spanish colonial architecture. Vivid colors on every surface. Street food for almost nothing. Musicians in the plazas. A genuine, lived-in city with no interest in performing authenticity for anyone. The smart move? $8 taxi to the walled city entrance. Walk in. Turn right. Walk the walls. Stop wherever looks interesting. Eat when you're hungry. Leave when you're ready. This is the one port on this entire list where walking off completely alone, no tour, no guide, no plan, is the right answer. Every single time.
We are starting at the top, rank number 1. And this isn't just a warning, it's a closure in everything but name. For years, Labadee, Haiti was the crown jewel of Royal Caribbean, a private peninsula, fenced, guarded, marketed as perfectly safe, zip lines, beaches, private security everywhere. But outside that fence, Haiti was collapsing. By late 2024 and throughout 2025, gang violence and political instability reached a point that could no longer be ignored. The U.S. State Department now lists all of Haiti as Level 4, Do Not Travel. That is the highest warning level that exists. It doesn't mean be careful, it means do not go. Even though Labadee itself is heavily secured, the situation around it has become too unstable. Cruise lines don't want the liability. Insurance companies don't want the risk. So sailings are canceled, ports are skipped, and itineraries are quietly rerouted. If you see Labadee on a 2026 itinerary, do not get attached. There is a very high chance it will become a sea day instead. Number 2 is a tragedy for anyone who remembers cruising in the 80s and 90s. Acapulco, Mexico. This was once the glamour port, movie stars, cliff divers, the Love Boat era luxury. Today, Acapulco sits inside the Mexican state of Guerrero, and Guerrero is under a full U.S. State Department do not travel advisory due to crime and kidnapping. Some cruise lines still dock here, and that's where travelers get trapped. The tourist zone looks safe, heavily policed, controlled. But step just 2 blocks outside that zone or take the wrong taxi, and you are in cartel territory. This is not a port for independent exploration. If your ship stops in Acapulco, you have 2 smart options. Take a ship-sponsored excursion or stay on board and enjoy an empty ship. This is not the day to wander and see what happens. Number 3 is a bucket list destination with a secret many first-timers don't expect. Colón, Panama. You go here for the Panama Canal, and the canal is incredible, But the city of Cologne itself has one of the highest crime rates in the region, and here's a telling detail. Crew members, people who travel the world for a living, often refuse to get off the ship in Cologne. Muggings and snatch-and-grab robberies happen right outside the port gates. This isn't cartel violence, it's desperation. Do not walk into town. Do not wear jewelry. Do not flash phones or cash. See the canal. Get back on the ship. That's the safe play here. Number 4 is heartbreaking because it is stunningly beautiful. Roatan, Honduras. Yes, the island is safer than the Honduran mainland, but that creates false security. You relax, you drop your guard, and that's when problems happen. If you dock at Coxon Hole, the pressure starts immediately. Aggressive vendors, unregulated taxis, isolated tour routes. There have been armed robberies of tour buses and tourists on remote beaches. The rule for Roatan is simple. Stay with crowds. Use certified tours. This is not the place to rent a scooter and explore. Number 5. You know it. You love it. Montego Bay, Jamaica. Jamaica frequently sits at level 3. Reconsider travel. The issue here isn't just crime. It's persistent aggression toward tourists. No is not always accepted. Outside resort zones, harassment can escalate quickly. And if you engage with the wrong person selling party favors, situations can turn dangerous fast. Stay in resort areas and ship excursions, and you'll have a great day. Wander into neighborhoods alone, and you are on your own. Number 6 is Belize City, not the jungle, not the ruins. The city. The cruise port is a walled tourism village with armed guards for a reason. The south side of Belize City has serious gang activity. This is dangerous only for the DIY traveler. Book a cave tour or Mayan ruins, and you're perfectly safe. Try walking into town from the port, and you are taking unnecessary risk. There is nothing to see there that is worth it. And finally, number 7. The most controversial port on the list. Nassau, Bahamas. It's listed as level 2. Exercise increased caution. And the danger here is complacency. Because everyone goes to Nassau, people stop paying attention. Petty theft, tourist scams, unregulated jet ski operators. The U.S. Embassy has issued warnings about assaults near the fish fry area and on isolated beaches. Nassau isn't Florida. Treat it differently. Front pocket your wallet. Skip the jet skis. Stay in well-lit areas.
Cruise lines sell you the dream of a secluded beach and a cultural adventure. The reality? 3,000 people fighting for one chair and a 4-hour bus ride to spend 20 minutes at a jewelry store. I've been on dozens of these excursions over the years. Some were incredible, but 7 specific types I now avoid like the plague. And today, I'm saving you $1,000 and probably a sunburn too. The brochure calls it a cultural island tour. You imagine winding roads through lush mountains, local villages, authentic food, a real taste of the destination. Here's what actually happens. You spend 4 hours on a bus. You get 20 minutes at a scenic overlook where everyone takes the same photo. And then the bus pulls into a partner jewelry store or carpet factory where you spend 90 minutes being aggressively sold to while the driver collects his kickback in the back room. You aren't seeing culture. You're a captive audience for a sales pitch on a bus you can't leave. The smarter move? Hop on, hop off bus. Every major cruise port has one now. They synchronize with ship schedules. You get the same scenic route with commentary. You jump off wherever looks interesting. You jump back on when you're done. $10 to $15 per person instead of $80. And 0 jewelry stores unless you choose to walk into one yourself. This is the bucket list item. Grandkids love it. Couples love it. The photos look magical. The reality is less magical. Those pools are often overcrowded, and the water quality is questionable at best. For anyone over 55, or anyone with compromised immune systems, skin conditions, or open cuts, it's a genuine health risk. We're talking stagnant water shared with dozens of strangers and several large marine mammals in a confined space. And then there are the growing ethical concerns. Multiple animal welfare organizations have flagged these facilities. The tide is turning on captive dolphin experiences worldwide. Do you really want a bacterial infection on day 3 of your cruise? Or the guilt of supporting something the world is moving away from? The alternative? Book a whale or dolphin watching boat tour in open water. You'll see them in their natural habitat. The photos are better, the experience is more memorable, and you won't need antibiotics afterwards. The excursion says secluded pristine beach. That sounds incredible. Private paradise, crystal water, Instagram gold. But secluded means no facilities, no restrooms, no shade structures, no food vendors, nothing but sand and sun for 4 hours. For anyone in the 55 plus demographic, when you are return point sa tiamd, awanan or ratier, awanarari or ikawing for a son, still was neurorini who drinks water and needs a bathroom more than once every 4 hours. This is a deal breaker. Rustic is code for dig a hole, and that's not an exaggeration. I've been on one of these. That is literally what happened. Before you book any beach excursion, check the description for the words, facilities available. If those words aren't there, assume the worst. Book a resort day pass instead. Sites like Resort Pass let you access hotel pools and beaches for $30 to $60. You get chairs, shade, clean restrooms, a bar, and actual human infrastructure. Same beach day. 0 survival skills required. Unlimited rum punch and snorkeling. Sounds like the perfect Caribbean afternoon. Here's the part they don't photograph. Getting on and off a bobbing catamaran from deep water requires climbing a narrow metal ladder while waves slam the hull sideways. If you're not 25 and athletic, this ladder is your worst enemy. Bad knees, bad back, any mobility limitation whatsoever. This is where the day goes wrong. And the snorkeling, you're looking at dead coral with 50 other people kicking you in the face, while the rum punch works its magic on everyone's coordination. The smarter play? Book a glass-bottom boat tour. You see the same marine life without getting wet, or find a calm beach snorkel spot through a local operator where you wade in from shore. No ladders, no deep water entry, no drunk strangers stepping on your fins. You're at Coco Cay or Half Moon Cay. You see the cabanas. They look gorgeous. $500 for a private shaded paradise with a dedicated server bringing you drinks and food. Now here's what that $500 actually buys you. The food is the same free food from the main buffet, just carried to you on a tray. The drinks are the same drinks from the bar, just delivered. You are paying $500 for shade you could have gotten under a free umbrella if you'd walked 20 minutes further down the beach. The hack? Arrive early. Walk past the first cluster of chairs where everyone stops. Go further. There are always free umbrellas and loungers available if you're willing to walk an extra 5 minutes. You just saved $500 and got the same breeze, the same view, and the same rum punch. Pompeii. Tulum. The old city of Dubrovnik. These sound like once-in-a-lifetime experiences, and they can be, if you do them right. The cruise line version? A 2-hour bus ride each way, 45 minutes of walking on uneven cobblestones in 95-degree heat, with no shade. A guide with a flag walking so fast that half the group can't keep up while the other half is desperately looking for water. This isn't a history lesson. It's heat stroke waiting to happen. If you genuinely want to see these places, book a private guide through a site like With Locals or Tours by Locals. Go early in the morning before the heat peaks. Small group, slow pace, shaded stops built into the route. You'll actually remember what you learned instead of just remembering how dizzy you felt. Drive your own 4x4 through the jungle. Sounds adventurous, exciting, different. The reality? Those vehicles are often decades old with terrible suspension. You spend 3 hours being violently shaken on unpaved roads. The scenic stops are a roadside fruit stand and a goat. If you have a bad back, neck issues, recent surgery, or any spinal sensitivity whatsoever, this excursion will ruin the rest of your cruise. Not your day, your cruise. Because the pain doesn't stop when the Jeep does. It follows you back to the ship and stays for the remaining 4 nights. I watched a couple on my last Caribbean sailing limp through the rest of the week after a Jeep tour in Jamaica. They couldn't sit at dinner without wincing. They skipped their next 2 ports entirely. The alternative? Book an open-air safari truck where a professional driver handles the terrain. Same jungle views, same photo ops, but with actual suspension and someone who knows the roads. Your spine will thank you for the remaining 7 days.